Hello and welcome to my stream. Hello and welcome to my stream. Yep. Okay, so what we are going to be doing tonight, is I don't know, for the for an hour or so before I go to bed, I will be perusing ge- the geography of Nigeria on Google Earth. Just random stuff. Yep. Tweeting choosing this thing. So the thing is, right, I work in marketing. Writing captions, doing all these things is literally my day-to-day life. But when it comes to doing it for myself, feels a bit gush, gush, gush. Gauche. I don't know how to spell the word exactly. I'm not pronounce it either, but I think you get what I mean. Yeah, so I've just tweeted about it. Maybe one or two people will join. I don't care, I don't mind. I'm going to look at the map anyway and talk anyways. So let's go to Nigeria. Nigeria. I need to clear all these things that I have here because we join new things. So let's pretend that you are a beginner and you've never seen Nigeria on a map before. Maybe you have, but you don't know exactly what those shapes mean or what they are or what they if they represent anything. Maybe you understand really, but you've not seen Nigeria from above in this manner. Or maybe you have, maybe you use Google Maps to get around, right? When you drive, when you walk, right? So you have seen and understood Nigeria in this manner. But hopefully tonight I can show you some new things that you've not seen before. So, hmm, where do we start? Nigeria is located in West Africa. This is Africa, this landmass we are seeing right here. So follow my cursor. This landmass we are seeing around here is Africa. This is a satellite view of the Earth. And this is Nigeria. This is the borders of Nigeria that we know, right, that we've been drawing since we were children. If you notice up here, follow my cursor, up here is like a brown color and down here is green, right? Yeah, this is the Sahara Desert. If you zoom in, you can literally see the sand. I like how the internet is good to night. So you can literally see the sand dunes. This is the Sahara Desert to the north of Nigeria. And to the south of Nigeria is the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean. There's a picture. Let's see. That's a boat. There's the Atlantic Ocean. Oh well, my life. Let me be sure. There's the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. I am live. Anywho, so to the south is the Atlantic Ocean, and of course, these huge geographical bodies have effects or affect the country. Means that from the south to the north, the wetter the drier it becomes. The south is made up of all these mangroves. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, right? Generally, that's it, right? The biggest geographical feature in Nigeria is the River Niger, which starts up here. I don't know if you can see this line of blue, this little line that cuts across the desert here. Yes, River Niger comes a long way before you see it at Onitsha. This is a stretch in Mali that is literally in the desert. Do you know that River Niger has an internal delta? It has a delta inside before reuniting and coming down to have a delta again. Yeah, this is the internal delta up here in the desert area of Mali, Sahelian area of Mali. You remember how when we saw the waters in Bayelsa State day before yesterday and how they meandered? This is exactly the way they are meandering here, just inland, and the water doesn't go anywhere, just meanders around here. Anyway, so this is not the source of the Niger. The Niger starts all the way down here in Guinea, in the Futa Jalon Mountains of Guinea. Then it flows through Guinea. One of the first major cities it flows through is Bamako, the capital of Mali. This this is Bamako. Yeah, let's see if we can see street view. We are going to do Nigeria. Now I'm doing West Africa. And the thing is that you can't do Nigeria without understanding the River Niger. So, anywho, the River Niger is here right now in Mali, flows through Bamako, and it is here that it begins to split into different uh, branches, as rivers tend to do when they are emptying all the sediments they carry into the ocean, which is what builds deltas. But this is inland. This is happening inland. Probably there used to be a lake here long ago that dried up. That it's drying up. I don't know. Maybe. Right. This as kind of a guess. So as you can see, because the water is, this whole place is a bit, gets flooded from time to time because of all the meandering of the water. You can see that some of the ground, some of the places green up here in the Sahel. You can see. So I'm guessing that agriculture will be going on in here. Let's see some of these pictures. All right. I don't know what that building is. So we are following. Yeah, this is the typical Sahelian village, town. I don't know. So we are in the inland delta area of the Niger. Now, when the Niger comes back together again, we are in Timbuktu. Timbuktu is a very historical city. Yeah, Timbuktu is a very historical city. It has been very important since the time of the Songhai Empire, the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire. It's a very ancient city and very important in for West African history in general, actually. So, okay, I was testing out the sound. So, yeah. Oh, apparently, when I open these images, it does not show. Okay, so noted I won't be opening the images again. Okay, so the River Niger continues across the deserts. Like look at how interesting this looks. Look at how dry everywhere is. Not really dry because it's not. This is still just around Sahel. Yeah, this is the Sahel area. Just let's see how sparse this place is, and then there's just the river flowing through, and you can now see patches of farmland in between the braids of the river. So you can see by the banks of the river, you can see all these patches of farmland. So see some greens in the islands of the river. See how the river meanders. So it's able to water the lands around here. And if you notice, all the towns up up here in Mali, in this northern part of Mali, and perhaps in the southern part of Mali, are just located directly along the banks, shores of the River Niger. Then, after heading east for a bit, it reaches its most northern point and then starts heading south until we get to another historical city, the city of Gao. Another historical city important during the Songhai and Mali empires. Yeah, again, look at all the green that the river is able to deposit. Again, the rivers carry a lot of sediments and alluvial soil that they can deposit along their banks that make their banks really, really very fertile some in some places, in many places. So that's why cities usually start up, and then just proximity to drinking water generally. So cities always tend to form around rivers. Ụfọdụzie n'ime deserts lanụ isiokwu wee ebe mmiri ọzọ dị, because look around, there's hardly any other streams. All these things are probably dry valleys. Let me see. Ka ọ mmiri na ihe a. Mmiri adịghị. It's dry. It's not dry really. I think it may be the type that dries up. So you see, for probably miles and miles there isn't. Let's see. Is this water? Okay, yeah, there's water here. The ferry are still just along the river basin. Then we enter the states that is named after it, the country that is named after the river, the Niger Republic. And much of the river doesn't flow through Niger Republic like that though, as it does through Mali and crosses all the major cities of Mali. To be fair, it also does cross all the major cities of the Niger Republic, including their capital, Niamey, which is also on the river. Niamey is the capital of the city of, I say capital of the city, the capital of the country, Niger. Let's see. It's a sizable city actually. Okay. And then the river continues heading south eastwards till it jams. It's not on the Nigerian border. Okay, not yet. Continues heading south until it jams the border with, that's Niger and Benin Republic. So it follows that border, Niger and Benin Republic, Niger and Benin Republic. Now, until you have the 3 points where it enters Nigeria here. And I believe this is Sokoto State. Is that Sokoto or KB State? KB State. No, let me remove this road so that my home. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Adema. So we are now in Nigeria. So the Niger then flows into Nigeria in KB State. And it is here it meets one of the first tributaries. Jesus Christ. The Sokoto River, the first tributaries within Nigeria. It has probably does have other tributaries in the other countries that it flows through, but Nigeria is where we are talking about. So that's where we are talking about. There's this is something that is not showing on my dashboard. I'm supposed to be able to see charts. Okay, so the River Sokoto. This is the River Sokoto. Yeah, see all the mean. Rivers are interesting thing. Rivers do not just go in one straight line. You would see all the places this river has moved, see all the movements it's made, and all the places it floods when it definitely looks like it does flood. That's the floodplain. Anywho, Sokoto flows into the Niger here. You can see all the bridging that the river does, see all the meandering, see Oxbow Lakes. Plenty Oxbow Lakes. I don't know if you remember Oxbow Lakes from your like this. Oxbow Lakes from geography in secondary school. When rivers meander like see how this is meandering right now, and sandbanks begin to form at the edges of this. Like it's happening exactly now. The river will find now it cause now it meander like this will be due to the sandbanks. But because the bend has become too much. The river, like, look exactly. This is you guys. This is literally a miracle that I talked about an oxbow lake, and we are able to find one that is literally about to happen. So over the year, over what is years, in a few weeks or whatever, soon, months, seasons, I don't know, period of time, water this river will just film continuous streets, and the water here will be cut off, and we'll have an oxbow lake that is small that will probably not last again. So that will show you because rivers are not just one thing that flows straight down a channel. They are forces. See all the movement the Niger is making here. You can see the way the land is moving. That's because these are the way the Niger is swinging as it's that's usually what I'll call it, splashing and sloshing around this valley as it heads southwards. Yeah, till we'll come to Bam. Kainji Lake. Kainji Lake is an artificial reservoir that was made in the 70s. I don't know the year exactly. I think it's the 70s. It provides electricity, lots of electricity, I believe. However, what's even more interesting about this lake, it's really huge, it's the largest lake in Nigeria now. It used to be Lake Chad, but Lake Chad has dried up almost. I don't even think there's much of Lake Chad left in Nigeria, to be fair. So this is Kainji Lake. Now, what is interesting about Kainji Lake or Sad or whatever is the city of Busa. Busa used to be a town that was located here. Let's see what this is. Is this the old one? Maybe the old one, Sha. So it ended up becoming flooded when the reservoir was created in the 70s. And so Busa Busa was relocated. There's another small Busa here. I don't know if this is remnants of the old one or whatever. I don't know what these things are. Anyway, Busa was relocated down here to the city of the town of New Busa. This town was created and the city was moved here when this reservoir flooded. I think there's street view here. Should be street view. Hmm. Yeah, this city. It's a town. Looks more like the town of New Busa, which is not very far from the Kainji Lake, which is the largest inland lake in Nigeria, which is man-made. Anywho, so the Niger continues down. It continues its journey down, swinging and swaying through Nupe Kingdom. This is the land of the Nupe people, I thinks, methinks. Is this not Niger States? Okay, maybe we need to come south a bit before I start making that claim. Yeah. So the river continues south. See how wide it is here. Wow. Let's see. How wide is it here? Is this the widest it is outside of the lake? Let's see. I'm trying to measure width. Bah, bah. 4 kilometers. It's really wide. Wow. Are you sure that's not also a lake? Anyhow, so it continues southwards until it becomes the border with Kwara State, methinks. Yes, this is the border between Niger, Niger State, and Kwara State. We are going down the river, down the river. There's a place we should have reached. Ah, here, yes, Jeba. I think this is probably the northernmost Yoruba speaking town there is. Correct me if I'm wrong. These things are just random information I have in my head. To be fair, they are correct many times because I do read book many times I do read book, especially history book. I don't read that plenty times. So it do be correct sometimes, but other times, eh, you get maybe information has been updated. So this is Jeba on the River Niger. Jeba on the River Niger. Let's see if there's a bridge here that we can see. You can see what the River Niger looks all the way up here. Mm-hmm. So it's a large river all the way from beginning to end. But like I said, the journey has already been long from where it's coming from, all the way from continues through Nupe Kingdom. You see all these huge swaths of farmland here. See? Let me see. Let me calculate this area would be. Like this is a huge swath of land. This is 55 square kilometers. All of this is just within the floodplains of the River Niger. Like this square I just did. As you can see this end to end. Wow. Talk about a powerful river. Let's see. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's continue. Panadol extra, I be a organ master. Panadol extra, the hammer headache. Panadol extra, organ master. Panadol extra, organ master. And so the long river of Niger continues south through Nupe Kingdom, like I have said before, and here it meets another mighty river, the Kaduna River. Now, fun fact about Kaduna River. You can still continue up north to Kaduna River until you get to the town of Zungeru. Where is Zungeru? Zungeru. Zungeru was at some point, I think, now this is one of those things that I think that I've read somewhere, was one of the capitals of the Northern Protectorates. And it was here that Nnamdi Azikiwe was born. I I think also because I've read somewhere that this was the farthest north they could sail up by river, which I would say makes sense for them to put the capital of the Northern Protectorate as at the time, 1909, if I'm correct. Maybe I'm not. But that's the vibe I want you to go with, right? Always, my dears, Google. Google. So that's Zungeru up the river Kaduna. Yeah, if we continue, I think how does that river Kaduna get to Kaduna Self? Yeah, it oh well, okay, yeah, it's still far. Look at the famous town of Bida. Where does this tributary go to? We are now like in the heartland of the Middle Belt. We are in Niger State. Yes, so we continue south. All of this is like the baskets of Nigeria. We continue south through the heartland of the country, gone, gone, gone. Finally, the river makes it out of Niger State, which is the largest state in Nigeria. How long did we even flow in that state? No, no, no. It's easy. Eh? Niger State is so huge. 76,000 square kilometers. Compare where to like Abia State is like 6,300 or something square kilometers. 76,000, 6,000. Unlike Lagos, that's just 3,000 something square kilometers. So, but then Lagos is unusually small for a state. Okay, so the river continues southwards until it reaches its famous confluence with another great river. Did you see the amount of, do you see all the places these rivers have met before? Look at the impact of these rivers here. Look. This floodplain. Probably floods. All these places are prone to flooding. Even as you can even zoom in now, you can see water. This clear. You can see the forest is submerged in water right now as we speak. Not as we speak. This image was made in 2024. The thing is that this date I think is written in American time. So I'll say 11/1/2024. January 11th, 2024. Or November 1st, 2024. Yung Holanda America. Ihe a na-achịkwa nka ihe ha n'ọrụ ihe. So anywho, this is Swamp. Is that the name of the town? Makes sense that there's a town by the confluence named Swamp. Imagine how many times the these villages have been submerged in water. Literally, see water here again is coming. So, looking at this map, you really understand how these rivers are a huge part of the lives of and geography of Nigeria. Anyhow, so at Lokoja, the city of Lokoja, the rivers Benue and Niger finally meets. Now the Benue has a long journey too, coming from the highlands of Cameroon. Somewhere in the mountains here, the Benue River collects into this lake somewhere here. This place, there's also a Benue National Park. All of these places are like in the highlands of whatever this country is. Cameroon. Country is Cameroon. Yeah. The river continues and flows into Nigeria in Adamawa State. Is that the capital? Is that the? Let's see if it's a border, because rivers are good for borders. I don't think it's a border. Yeah, it just flows into Adamawa State. The first major city it crosses is Yola. Adamawa Yola. Yola is the capital of Adamawa State. Looks like this is a very nice looking street. Oh, I like, it's very serene and calm. I quite like this tree. This is a very nice tree that I landed in. I like. This is a very nice impression that I to have about a city or a town. Let me see. Let's go up. Let's try somewhere else in Yola. I mean, not bad really, to be fair. Like, this is a regular Nigerian street, but neat. You get, because I know, okay, maybe it's neat is stretching it, but and this place is a bit rural because I've been expecting to come out to that. Maybe not rural, suburban. This is what the Nigerian suburban feels like actually. Yeah, suburban is the word I mean, not rural. I like all those Arewa patterns there. Okay, this is like a court yard, abala, something like that. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so the river continues. Let's see if we can see the river at Yola. Let's see, there's a bridge we can cross here. Yes, there's a bridge. Let's go, go, go. To see what the bridge looks like at Yola. Everybody say go, 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 Jungle together, jungle. Jungle is the king of the jungle. Everybody say go, 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 together, jungle. Jungle is the king of the jungle. Okay, so we are in Jimeta, Yola. I don't know what city is this is. It's you see, this is Benue. Benue is a mighty river, and it still has time to collect many rivers on its way. We are not even halfway to the Niger here, and Benue is already this big. So I need to get the scale of what we are talking about. These rivers, their sizes, the effects that they have, the on the geography around them, and the people that live there. So Benue continues right through these vast empty areas of Nigeria. I won't call them empty, but sparsely populated. Taraba states, Adamawa are some of the less sparsely populated states. Sparsely, that's the word. So the Benue continues down. As you can see, the valley of the Benue is very green, right? Very green. Can differentiate it from all these mountains on the side, Jadi hills. Here you can see very green valley. I can see large, you zoom in, you see farmlands, farmlands, right? And we are going south. The river flows south, collects rivers Castina, Ala, and Donga rivers. We are now in Taraba State. It flows to Taraba State. Taraba State is such an interesting state. Permit me to go south here to the Mandela Plateau, where we have the tallest point in Nigeria, Chapel Wadi. I think this is it. This is not somewhere around here. It's a very remote area, to be fair. All of these areas are very, very far and very, very remote. Like, let's see this. Let's see how I want to show you this distance you're seeing on this map. So you understand how far distances are in a state as large as Taraba State. I think Taraba is like the third or the fourth largest state in Nigeria by land mass. right? So this is 88 kilometers. And that's 8 kilometers. You're following this chart down here. The land has gone from 220 meters to 1,500 meters above sea level. So you're not just like this is a huge steep plateau, right? So it means that these areas are really remote and sometimes Oku is cut off from other parts of the states, not to talk of the country. So the river continues south. We are now back to our river Benue. I think this is the Donga River that flows into the river Benue. Or is this? Yeah, this is the Donga River, and then this is the Castina Ala. Castina Ala is another famous river. I think the city Castina Ala is famous for because there's a train that runs through it. I think this train Castina Ala in Benue State, and we find ourselves in Makurdi. Makurdi is the largest city on the river Benue. You can see here that the river just really just can see all these lines in Benue State, plenty rivers that are flowing into the river Benue. Like what it means that this place is really watered. That's why the soil is very good, and that's why you can see lots and lots of farm land. And don't forget that the Benue again, like all rivers, are bringing like sediments that are very rich in nutrients, which makes Benue State one of the most, agriculturally profitable a lot of cities. Let's see what the river looks like in Benue, in Makurdi. Three little birds sat on my window. Yeah, like I said, mighty large rivers, It's a huge river, River Benue. Okay, so I think that's the story of the Niger's largest tributary. So the Benue, even if it was a river on its own, normal river on its own, is big, huge, and large. And then it now jams another mighty, huge, and large river on its scale here, Bamin Lokoja, giving us a very huge river on its own now. So that by the time we are coming down, I think the next city should be Eda from Lokoja. We're in Kogi State right now. Kogi State is really at the heart of Nigeria, and we find ourselves in Ajaokuta. Ajaokuta is famous for the steel factory that I'm showing you right now. The Ajaokuta Steel Company. I don't know if it produces steel, but it did, and for as long as it has did, they've talked about it. They've, oh, set some money aside for this, oh, set so money aside for that, It's there, Sha. Let's see if we can find street view for it. Three little birds. This road literally goes anywhere but the steel company. So, but if I think we can see it, let's see if we can zoom. Yes. Are you seeing it? Yes, that's the steel factory. Um, okay. Okay, I think Chijila. Okay. Let's finish this tour of the River Niger so I can go to bed. Makes sense that their Jakarta still is by the river so that we can it's good to export and ship down to the port in Port Harcourt. So it will be good then for them to fix the port. Don't you think? Don't you think? Tell me, I think. Where is this? Itobe. Let's see how large. Let's see the street view here. There is. Let's see how large the Niger is here now. Humongous sea now. It's like a sea. This is just a river. Oh. That's why people call it Oshimiri. It's a great river. It continues to pour down. It's physically separating the country and dividing the country actually. Boom, boom, boom. Did we get to Ada yet? Boom. And there we are in Ada. Egala Kingdom. Oh, the street view. Let's see if we can see the river from here. Oh, who fenced it off? Egala. Who is the person that fenced off this river so that people will not see it? See. Ugh, this house is one. Let us see. Oh, Jim. Shavia in Ida in Egala land, Kogi State. The other side, we now have Edo State and some Edo settlements on the other side of Nara. So the water here now gets really flooded again. This is another place that gets really flooded because as the Anambra River, okay, we've not gotten there, but all this area floods terribly, as you can see. The Niger they swing around here. So we continue southwards. We go south in the name of the Lord. Until the river now flows into Igbo land. So the journey has been far. So you did not just wake up. Before you got here, it started a long way. Started a really, really long way. And it continues down, down to see where it meets the Anambra River. Now this place, all this place from here, this area you're seeing, as the Anambra River snakes down, following my cursor, are we? Let's see. As the Anambra River snakes down, it gets its own plenty while as you can see if you see it, you see that it floods terribly. Floods a lot. Look at the ground inundated with lines of what where the water had been before. The Niger too. So this area, when you hear during rainy season that from parts of Anambra flooded, it's definitely probably around this corridor where the Anambra meets the Niger. Anywho, after that, we are now at the two cities on the Niger. To the north, we have Asaba. Let's see what the streets of Asaba look like. Not even just really to the north, to the west bank of the river is Asaba. It's important to note the distinction between Asaba and Onitsha. Asaba is the one that is west of the river bank, and Onitsha is the one that is east to the river bank. And I think this is the narrowest point where they could, these two places, see how narrow it is, right, compared to where we've been coming from. You can even see it narrow. That's where the two last bridges are on the Niger. Let's see the distance at the ridge here. 1 kilometer. Remember when it was 4 kilometers? I think. Let's see the iconic River Niger Bridge. Onitsha is probably the most iconic city on the River Niger. It is famous for being on the River Niger. Even here, the river is huge. Anybody who has crossed the River Niger at Onitsha knows that it is a really mighty river. Like I said, it's like a mini ocean separating two lands. Let's see if there's view from the new bridge. Not yet. From there, the river continues southwards through Delta State on one end, Anambra State on the other, through where is still mostly Igbo land and Igbo speaking communities. As the river is winding down, we enter River States, Donny areas. You can see, yeah, we are in River State here. And if you notice something about the river now, these sediments are becoming huger and huger now. Now remember what these sediments are. These islands that we are seeing in the river, right? They are sediments. That's like pieces of sand that the river has carried. I call it sand, grains of sand, like sediments, things, nutrients, all of it that it has carried from of throughout its 4,000 kilometer journey, right? In some places, they are depositing small, small, and they are forming these islands, right? They're depositing by the side. When the river floods, for example, they will deposit by the side of the river, and soon sand, whatever it's things will start growing on it, and people can farm on them. They are like, as you can see, this island right now is farmed. They are farmed all over it. So because it's the sediments can that the river is carrying will be a lot of nutrients too. So that's why. So we're in River Station, Donny area. So these sediments are becoming huger and huger as we go down until it's not just a sediment, it's a river splitting. What actually happens in a delta is that the river, the delta, what actually is delta itself, is a river depositing millions and millions of thousands of years or thousands of years worth of sediments that it has carried over its lifetime into the ocean. That's when deltas fan out. It's like the sand, the river has brought out all those sand or whatever, all the soil that it has carried and built it over the years. The water meanders all over it. Now, the landscape of the Niger Delta is completely different from, remember, Timbuktu and Gao, where we are coming from. Here, we are not in the desert anymore. We are literally in the middle of the jungle. We are literally in the middle of thick green rainforest and mangrove swamps. The river splits into two here, splits again here at Sagbama, splits again here. On the other side, sef, there's one that is coming off here and gets jumbled on into the millions of creeks that is coming out of it. See this one, you see this tiny creek and see the city of Inegoa just along the line of it. See rivers. See that meandering thing I told you about. See how this river is meandering. To soon Kotbo and we'll have several lakes. Look at all the tiny as rivers that are flowing into smaller rivers that flow into bigger rivers that flow into smaller rivers again that flow into, like, by this point the Niger is up to 1,000,001 streams, tiny streams. Remember all the things he did in Timbuktu, in the inland delta of Timbuktu. He's doing it here as it enters the river. This is a very, very mighty river that it was 4 kilometers wide at some particular point. So you can imagine how much water is being poured into the river with all the sediments. So that's how you can see all the way here. You can see all the outlets of the Niger. I think this is Focados. This is Focados. Yeah, this is Focados. All the outlets of the water. The city of Warri in the delta. So we've explored the river Niger from source to mouth. Got all these rivers, that's islands that are also lakes that are also islands. Like, where does the land begin and where does water end? Like, and all I'm saying, if you zoom into these patches of land, see that it's still water. So this is not, this is hardly, this is mangrove. This is mangrove swamp. This black thing I think is mangrove swamp, and all these mangroves are so inaccessible because the rivers are so unending. They keep on going and turning, and there's one that leads to another, that leads to another. The streams, the creeks, someone like, and then there's a giant one like this. This one is randomly huge, and there's the city of brass. Like, this one is just randomly huge, and you can see, let's see how wide it is. 4 kilometers wide. That's huge. Why is this even a river? Like, so you see what I mean by is the river depositing sediments. If you check, this is an island. Brass, check. This is an, all of it, all of it is an island. If you check, you'll see it again. Most of them are like all those small islands that you see inside the river, then just being sprawled up here. And also Loibri, where they discovered oil in Nigeria in quantities that could be sold. Not that we can do street view. Next, so we visited some of the important places in Nigeria and some geographical features of Nigeria by following the river Niger from source to mouth. So I hope you've learned something. This was random, and I think only one person joined, but 1 hour has gone, and thank you for joining us. Bye. How do you take end now?